4-5-1, Championship. Marcus.
Let's do it. Wolves are down. They're relegated. They've sacked Dean Saunders as a result. Where do they go from here, Ian? Where do
I
they
don't
go
know,
from here?
man. It's just
they're going down. We know
it's
that.
been a disaster, and it's
It really
got
has.
all the same traits as the teams that's gone before them. You know, in respects of going down and then going down again, and then you know, Charlton did it. You know, Wolves look like they're doing it.
Well,
I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what's got to happen. Something obviously for me has got to happen upstairs in the board because they don't seem to be doing something right. They're getting it wrong.
And it's a big club. It's a big club. I mean, when they go down to League One, it could be a case that
it's a big club. Yeah, but sorry, Marcus, because I'm just getting around a big club. You know,
sure.
70s.
Yeah.
Wolves, you know, massive. I remember Andy Gray and people like that when they used to play for them. Right. And they're a big club because they're in a town where, you know what I mean, they've got great support if they're doing well in that. But I'm not sure anymore. You can't have them as a big club.
But if they go down to League One, it could be one of those cases that that happened to Leeds. That they're the biggest club in that division, or one of them certainly. If they find their winning way and come straight back up, they'll have a great time and go straight back into the Championship and think, right, let's kick on from here.
Who's done that so far?
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Obviously, Charlton had an amazing time in League One, but I don't know if it was when they.
When they go
straight back down.
From the fall from grace all the way down, and then bang, bang, bang.
Well, if they get a manager in who gets the club going again, then they could really get some momentum and think, right, come on, we're Wolves, we're bigger than this league. You know, you win a lot of games, you go back up, and you get that optimism back at the club. Or they could go down, feel sorry for themselves, not get anybody in place who's going to grab the bull by the horn, so to speak. And stay in that league for a few seasons and sort of fester away.
The problem you have is, like you say, okay, you know what I mean, I'm saying, well, they're not a big club because in the 70s and, you know, people saying they're a sleeping giant and this and that. They haven't done anything in the last 20, 30, whatever years it is.
Well, they got promoted.
But is that that's a big club? So that's achieving for a big club.
Well, no, they're a big club for League One, surely.
Yeah, but look, I think it's in name, like even in name, I'm not sure if they are.
Right.
And then what happens is, you've got players who are going to come to this so-called big club with the pressure of, well, they're a big club, they should be going up. You know what I mean? So the pressure's going to be instantly on everybody, like it has been on Leeds and stuff like that, saying, oh, because it's Leeds, they're going to come because they're going to have the massive fan support and that. Fans don't go when you get down that end. Not like the Man City fans used to go. Fans saying, I'm not going to watch that. And they don't get the same caliber.
But in a one-club town.
Yeah, but they don't get the same caliber of player that's going to make them go up. It's not just in the name of the club alone that gives them the right to say, oh, they're going to come back because they're a big club. What happens is that players who are not as good in respects of the kind of top-end player to go to a club like that with the pressure that a club like that is under and get them out of it because the pressure is too much for some of those players. It's too much for some of those players. And so it really does depend on who you can bring in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They've got to get, for a start, they've got to get a manager who's experienced.
Well, who might be the manager?
level.
I mean, there's talk of Kenny Jackett, who resigned from Millwall.
Yeah.
I mean, he would be a step down, of course, Millwall survived.
Yeah. But he does know how to get out of that league.
He does know how to get out of that league. Could be him. I mean, but they do know someone. They do know someone. They do need someone, of course. I
know I've upset a couple of MK Dons people, but I think someone like Carl Robinson, who knows the league, you know, I know him very well, very good coach. I think he's one of those that, you know, I'd love to see him with a decent budget. You know, somewhere like Wolves, you know, if it would not surprise me if they were interested in him. I've read somewhere that they wanted to go young, they wanted to, you know, they wanted to go a different way, young and up and coming. But I don't see the point if you're going to have the same people in the board, because I don't think it's so much what's going on in and around the managerial side of things. What might be the problem at Wolves? I think there's some problems upstairs, personally. Yeah. So I think they've got to sort out upstairs and they've got to sort out the managerial side of things. But I can see a lot of problems to come. Yeah. Because like what happens is, Marcus, is that players will, when you say, yeah, Wolves are in for you, you're like, oh, they'll be under, don't know, because they're going to be under pressure. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work out for me, what's going to, you know, players start thinking like that. And they say, no, I'm not going to Wolves. And all of a sudden they can't sign the player they want. Then what do? Pay players extortionate money in that league
Right.
And then people find out hey, he's on this much money. No wonder Wolves are doing so bad. Can they pay him that? He's not worth that in this league. He's not even. It turns into this vicious cycle. So Wolves have got a lot more problems than people will understand. A lot more problems.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you, Wolves fans, because I think you're going to need it. An unbelievably dramatic day on the final day of the Championship season, which saw Hull City get promoted back into the Premier League. Absolute scenes down there, absolutely incredible. We're going to be talking about Hull. What do they need to do to stay in the Premier League next season?
I don't know. I don't think they will.
Do you not think straight back down for Hull?
It's very early. Another team that I personally feel are going to have problems signing people. They're going to need to take chances on people who want to come and play in the Premiership, and hopefully they do something like a Benteke. You wouldn't say that Benteke at 5 million was too much of a chance, but he was coming into a Villa side, a young Villa side where he was under a bit of pressure, and he's done it. He's answered the critics in that respect. But for me, going to Hull and playing for Hull, I think they're going to find it hard to attract players, and they're going to need players to keep them in that league.
Yeah, they are indeed. They need a keeper. They've had David Stockdale in goal on loan from Fulham, who I think is a very good goalkeeper actually. Schwarzer doesn't look like he's going to be retiring anytime soon, so maybe Stockdale would fancy it.
Well, maybe they'll. I don't know. They might go the other way now. Maybe Stockdale's ready for the Fulham first team. Okay. And Schwarzer, if he fancies going to Hull at this stage of his career,
a little swapsies.
You know what I mean? Maybe a swapsie, but you can't really see that because it doesn't seem to me as somebody who's going to really want to come out of London at this stage of his career and play for and go to Hull. And it's not disrespectful to Hull. It's just not. It's just not a proposition that I think that he would consider.
What they need is a goal scorer.
I know.
Corrin was their top scorer. Nine goals.
Yeah.
He won't get 9 in the Premier League at that rate.
Because if you're getting 9 in the Championship, you're talking about maybe 2 or 3.
Do you think?
In the Premiership. You know, it's such a massive step up.
I mean, it'd be good for them if Aluko, who's been injured quite a lot, was a crucial player to them in the early part of the season. But you do look at that whole side and you think, they need to make signings. But
I didn't see enough of Aluko though.
Well, he was at the start. He got injured.
Yeah, but was I don't know.
Well, he's good. He played for Rangers in Scotland. He did well there. Yeah, he's pretty quick, pretty.
Yeah, but we're still talking about. We've all just said we're talking about Scottish football.
No, of course.
And you know what I mean? Yes, he seems like. But he's going to have to come to the Premiership and make an impression. He can't come in and just be another player. They're going to have to find somebody who's going to at least get 10 to 15 goals. And we're talking about at least 10, 12 of those have got to be Premiership goals. Well, I can't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, they need to make signings. And the last time they did that, they nearly went bust, of course. I mean,
exactly.
But the Championship, the quality has not been great. I mean, it's been so exciting, as we saw on the last day. Absolutely fantastic to watch. The quality's perhaps not been there. But then, like we said before, they're going to go up. They'll probably have a good time. Even if they came straight back down, a lot of money in parachute payments. So, Hull City, enjoy it.
Well, exactly.
Enjoy it. The playoffs take place this week, but the final is not until the end of May. So at the time of recording, the first legs haven't been played. We don't know who's going to be in the final, but we can predict. We've got Leicester City versus Watford, Crystal Palace versus Brighton in the derby there. Ian Wright.
Who am I going for?
Who do you fancy?
Well, I want Palace to be there for a start. I'm going to go with Palace for my...
How big a derby is that, Palace v Brighton?
It's quite a big derby.
You've played in it?
Yeah, I played in a few of them. It's a big derby. It's pretty intense.
Right.
And that...
But you fancy Palace for that?
I want to go. I think I might go. I think I'm going to go Palace Leicester.
Palace Leicester?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Palace Leicester.
Do you think Watford will be too disappointed? Because obviously Leicester sneaked into the playoffs.
They sneaked in with what, 68 points? It's almost unfair. It doesn't seem right. Yeah. But at the same time, that's what happens. All of a sudden, you know, you get a team like that. They just come up, they sneak in. That's right. And all of a sudden they could find themselves in the Premiership.
They could indeed. And Watford, the disappointment of not going through as well. And what about Watford's goalkeeping situation? You know, I mean, Almunia was injured.
Is he going to be fit for it? He must probably be fit by the time he comes on.
You'd hope so for Watford's sake, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you've got to feel sorry for that guy.
Yeah, indeed.
I really, really do.
But I do think Watford will beat Leicester. I do think that will happen, yes. Palace versus Brighton is a harder one to call. But I think that Palace will nick it. Yeah. I think it would be Palace versus Watford. It'll be a southeast affair in the final.
I quite like the vibe of Palace versus Brighton.
I think Watford are going to do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm going Leicester Palace.
Who do you think?
Go Palace.
Palace are going to get promoted?
Palace are getting up. I'm praying that they go up.
Right, okay. That'll be interesting.
I want to sell my house to a Palace player in the Premiership.
There you go. Palace for promotion here. Barnsley, mission impossible achieved.
Yes, well done.
My goodness, Flitcroft has kept them up.
Well done, mate.
They're there, and Mr. Flitcroft himself is he's beginning, or certainly trying to make a name for himself. Interesting manager.
Well, I think that he's
Another one of those young managers.
Yeah, he's starting the way he means to go on. You know, he's got his own ideas. He's got his own coaching methods. You know what I mean? He's got the job.
Yeah.
Albeit, you know what I mean, kind of like it was thrust upon him.
He was assistant before?
Yeah, exactly, and he seems to relish the challenge. And, you know, good luck to him. You know, I believe that it's good to see young managers implementing what their philosophies are on the game and how they believe they should go, how they want to train and coach their players. You know what I mean? You've got to have that from the start, and hopefully you'll see that all the way through.
But he's certainly looking at the bigger picture. I mean, he's even making comments about English coaching in general, which is quite interesting for a guy, you know, who just finished down near the bottom of the Championship to say such things. So he's obviously got this ambition.
He had 20 games.
Oh, absolutely. But it's good that he's making these noises, you know.
Well, it would be good if he's making those noises. Then he goes on to be a coach that can actually make a difference in the way he's coaching his team. So as then people say, well, those are the things that's going to make people take notice of him and say, right, the FA, let's go and see what he's saying. He's a young manager with ideas. Let's get him in and see what he's doing. But he has to get some form of success so as they can say, right, let's go and see what David Flitcroft's doing. I quite like his philosophy on the game. See if we can, you know, get that through to our coaches as well.
But the chairmans of other clubs, if they're looking for managers, do they hear these sounds they're making in the media and think, oh, I quite like him?
Of course they do. And it depends. If you've got a young coach who's got those kind of ideas on the game and he wants to push it forward, and he's brave enough, because that's the thing as a coach, brave enough to enforce your ideas and what you feel coaching and where coaching should be going. There'll be chairmen who are looking for that as well, because they got ambitions to want to move forward in the right way. David Flitcroft is saying all the right things. It's only going to be time that's going to let us realise if it's just talk or he genuinely believes what he's saying, because it's very easy to attack the England coaching methods for whatever reason, because let's face it, it's not actually pulling up trees in respects of producing players. Yeah. So, you know, if he continues doing what he's doing and his teams are playing great football, bringing through young players, then all of a sudden you could say, right, he's somebody that he's not just talking because he's trying to get column inches, he actually means it passionately.
Well, we shall wait and see what the future holds.
Absolutely.
For Mr. Flitcroft.